The West Highland Way is a true Scottish adventure. When you're on it, you almost feel like a hobbit making your way to Mordor. It's like this crescendo of adventure and beauty. Just every step or every pedal stroke, it just gets more and more gnarly. I've been planning this ride for well over a year. It's definitely a physical and a mental challenge. Come on! It's a test of endurance.
Go on, Rab.
It's a test of bike handling. The goal this time isn't so much to push through the pain or to suffer my way through it. The goal this time is to use my head. My name's Rab Wardell, and I'm going to try and mountain bike the West Highland Way in the fastest known time ever.
The West Highland Way was founded in 1980 and is one of the most beautiful and most challenging walks in the British Isles. It stretches from the suburbs of Scotland's largest city to the foot of Scotland's largest mountain.
It's iconic, and hundreds of thousands of people travel from all over the world to try and conquer the challenge.
It's quite poetic. You go from like the hustle and bustle of the big city, which is Glasgow. You slowly go far away from that.
You go from one extreme to the other and you just see it all in this one trip of 96 miles. You've got some of the best scenery you'll ever get. Can't beat it really, can you?
It's a really, really challenging mountain bike route. It's extremely long, and there's 10,000 feet of climbing.
Don't underestimate it. You need fitness, you need bike handling skills. You also need to be good on your feet.
It's rough the whole way, and there's sharp rocks the whole way. Like, you've got 95 miles of puncture risk.
It just needs a couple of things to go wrong, and suddenly the momentum sways, and you're really up against it.
The game plan is to need no spare wheels, but going a little bit extra on the pressure on the tyres. I'm scared. Every year, I guess I just set my sights on like a big challenge. That basically motivates me to train and to put work into it. That was the whole thing with West Highland Way and trying to set the fastest known time. I've not felt this nervous in ages. The thing that's scaring me the most is the mechanical. So I've just got to ride smooth and just be in control. At least got the first crash out of the way. Hang on, take this off. What time are we on?
When he first told me about it, I was like, mint, let's do it. It's been great to see him being so focused towards something like this and having gone all in.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. First mountain biked the West Highland Way in one go 10 years ago. I didn't know anybody who'd actually mountain biked from start to finish, and I did it in just over 12 hours. When the project started, the record to beat was 10:28.
And that was set by Keith Forsyth. He's one of the most well-known and celebrated endurance madmen that you can ever come across in Scotland.
Actually, sub 10 hour West Highland Way would have been amazing for me. That was the big goal. Then about 4 or 6 weeks before I planned to do it, Gary McDonald from Fort William rode it in 9 hours and 28 minutes.
When I had it done, I was like, oh my God, that is shifting. You need to now go an hour quicker.
It was kind of scary that he'd set such a fast time.
Gary would have been getting Rab out his bed in the morning because he'd done that. It just kind of puts a rocket up your arse.
I would like to think I've helped him in his way of getting a better time, and he's sort of went, right, I can work on that.
It made me realise that to set the fastest time, I needed to really give it everything. Leaving Milgay and riding up the glen towards Drammen and Conic Hill, it was super foggy.
Great job, Rabby boy. Awesome.
As we got to Conic Hill, you just came out above that, which I'm sure you can see, and the most amazing inversion over Loch Lomond. You know, I think when I was riding, I did have plenty of those moments where I was like, right, just take this in because it's unreal. Conic Hill is a really hard ride in itself. The climb up over the south side of it, it goes up fast. And you've also got to dodge the Highland cattle as well. And the descent is really gnarly.
It is rough as. Really, really jagged rock. Janky is probably the best word to describe it. 24 hours before, Rab had done a recce of that, managed to puncture, which added to no end of the anxiety.
If you get a punch there, that's it. It's game over. You might as well just go and have a sandwich.
Right at the front of my mind, and needed to get down Conic Hill safely without any mechanical issues. I got up over it with no real dramas. It was nice to get to the bottom and just tick that part of the challenge. It's almost like you've got a checklist and it's you got to go, right, success. We're on track, we're on pace. From Balmaha and Conic Hill up to Inversnaid, the single track and the ride in there, it's so good. You're riding really fun single track. Yeah, it's mega. You're having fun, but you know it's going to come to an end.
Go on, Rab.
The things that I've been focusing on to get ready for this ride are building my endurance levels through specific training and also dropping body weight.
The training is arguably the most important part. I think physically, mentally, there's way more to it than just jumping on your bike and riding it for 9.5 hours as fast as you can.
The West Highland Way, it's really physical. It really is. You can't just grab your bike and do it. You have to put so much work in.
As well as doing like long, steady rides, still doing some intensity. Great way to boost your VO2 max or your maximal aerobic power. The higher you can get that, the better. Pretty much, no matter what. I don't think I've ever trained this well. I think even when I was a pro, I wasn't training as well as I'm training at the moment. I'm pretty close to hitting peak PB numbers in terms of power outputs and in terms of like my body weight.
You have to be willing to take yourself to the really, really horrible, crappy bit. Because if you haven't practiced that in training, you've got no chance on the day.
His schedule was to be here in 3 hours. We expect to arrive here maybe 15 minutes, so we would be quarter of an hour up. Sounds like he's in good spirit so far from what we've been hearing, so it'd be good to see him, see how his morale is. The most important part of this is keeping him fueled. You're a Formula 1 vehicle when you're doing this sort of things. This is the sort of stuff that's going to get him through it.
The map is just coming across the hillside, matter of minutes I think, to be honest with you. He's going to basically come straight through the trees if he comes out. Good work, mate, you're up on it. Roughly 10 minutes, Rab.
Once you get north of Inversnaid on Loch Lomond, it's pretty hellish.
Ultra rocky, loads of trees, no flow to it. 1 minute you're on the bike, 1 minute you're off the bike.
It's around about 10 kilometres long. It's like really slow going, trying to negotiate going through these gaps and flipping, lifting your bike over boulders.
All I could think was, it's 40 miles away. Wow, I've got so long to go here.
He's really going for it.
It's mega hard. It's ridiculous. It's kind of stupid, Makes a good case that it's hard to walk. When Johnny was following behind and takes a digger, falls over.
Oh, crump.
How was it, Johnny? Sore knee. Still sore? Maybe I'd lost a little bit of time on the hike about, a minute or so, but I was still ahead of schedule.
Literally halfway point now, the first half has been totally free. The energy has been totally full and he's just slowly been chipping away at it, making sure he's keeping fueling, making sure he's keeping on his hydration and not making any silly mistakes. This is now the point where he has to start showing his mettle and how much he really, really wants this.
Not for a bit. Keep it on. Keep doing what you're doing, bud. Keep it. You look great. Totally in control, totally measured, still chanting away, good morale. Hi. Getting a wee bit nervous now.
This is where it really starts.
The trick of riding an effort like this is being able to be in control. So that's why it looks measured, because it is. It doesn't mean it's easy. To ride that far for that long at the pace that we're planning is going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done. There definitely is a transition and a change in the landscape. It's starting to feel pretty Highland. Really be able to know why this area of Scotland is called the outdoor capital of the UK. Rannoch Moor was challenging. When I hit that, it was noticeably harder and noticeably slower. This is where I was thinking that I could really pull time. But this is where there was going to be a question mark, because it's exposed. On the day, unfortunately, it was just a constant, steady headwind.
Rannoch Moor is basically a big funnel. The wind comes off the coast, straight down Glencoe, blowing at you, and you just feel you're riding your bike through porridge, or you feel like you're dragging a dead donkey behind you.
We're talking about an hour and a half to 2 hours of riding. It was pretty clear that it was having a big impact on the time. It was a battle, you know, it was hard.
For me, that whole point of Rannoch Moor was kind of the tipping point.
It's beyond halfway, you're hitting that when you're already tired, and there's still a long way to go. I wasn't riding as quickly as I wanted to, which meant I started riding overpaced. I was behind on what I knew I could do. I think I lost somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes.
Red Bull or Hydro? Hydro. Jumbo has got a Hydro with a caffeine if you want that. Good man. Keep it going, boy. 15 minutes up. Double staircase, literally in the background. Over the back of that. In at Kinloch leaving, and then we're on the home straight, so to say. Everything crossed, except for my eyes.
The Rannoch Moor and the Devil's Staircase are really close together. It's like you basically have two big challenges back to back. The effort's really starting to bite. You know, you've been riding for 7 hours and you're basically going to the highest point.
When you're physically and mentally drained, I actually stop caring about going fast.
The Double Staircase is an absolute mare of a climb. You're incredibly fatigued. You know you're getting to the end point, so you're trying to push a little bit.
It's real hard.
How you doing, Rab?
Right, that's done. You're at the highest point. Relief, you know? The views are unreal. Feels super remote. Just an incredibly beautiful part of the world. And the trail was tech and fun. I was riding really well. It was super smooth, carrying speed, getting these little gaps over the drainage ditches and jumping steps, and yeah, it was just working, you know. And I literally just finished the single track to join the fire road or the gravel road down into Kinloch leaving, and then 2 seconds later, tyres going down and the sidewall slashed. That was challenging. My first thought was just like, disaster. You know, what do I do? It was a flipping wild ride down into Kinloch on flat, like on the cush cord, full on like speedway drift.
If you want to put in time in, you can't afford one mechanical. That's how hard it is. You have to have a faultless run.
Thankfully, it came across my mum and dad.
Can we help in any way, Rab?
Can I get some water and energy? No, well.
No, he never gets flustered. Robert is always as cool as a cucumber.
I was panicking.
Other way.
Where?
Have it.
My stomach will settle down once this is finished.
The biggest thing was the mental impact, the negative mindset that it put me into. On this day, I really wanted to set a time that was going to put the record out of reach. And unfortunately, with headwind and with a mechanical issue, that just wasn't going to happen. Climbed up and out of Kinlochleven. That was the most challenging part. I kind of went into almost like limp mode. I was struggling as I was making the ride on the military road towards Fort William, and that was the last point that I had any kind of support.
You're drawing down your legs, freshen yourself up a wee bit. Mate, you're fucking smashing. Let's keep it going. Flat, eh? I know.
Jimmy did his usual flipping encouragement.
Get that down here as well for this last bit, as he's done, mate. Empty the fucking cranks now. Full gas up that hill, and that's us. Come on! This is it! Let's big fucking house today! Go on!
That gave me a real boost. My mindset changed. I was back on track and attacking the trail.
Anxious. I think the biggest part of this is going to be relief.
Descending into Glen Nevis, it's like you're nearly there. Such a fast descent. It's like when I was growing up, starting mountain biking and seeing the kamikaze downhill in America with Steve Pete and Miles Rockwell and all these guys in skin suits, you know, old school downhill.
Amazing how quickly 9 hours can go when you're full of anxiety. An absolute blinder all day, so it's just a matter of getting off the top of the hill to here and being safe.
Just wanting to see him coming up that road. And it seems to get longer and longer every time.
I mean, you know you're just nearly there. You've just got one last challenge. It's like 5 minutes left. You can almost touch it.
It's not over until you're into Fort William. You've got to try and put effort and keep speed.
I feel like I did when my daughter was about to be born. Here. Kind of, not fully. Kind of, but maybe 50% of that.
It was like all in.
Yeah, wish you could see through people and through buildings. Here he comes. I think I can see him. 200 metres away.
Of course I'm proud of him. Yeah, he puts me through this, but I'm still proud of him.
The gauntlet is firmly thrown down, and it's up to the next person to come and have a go at another record. So I think he should be incredibly proud of what he's done.
I feel a bit upset about my initial reaction as I got to the end.
Flipping stoked, I guess, but I wanted to go faster. 9 hours and 14 minutes, 32 seconds. Yeah, I should probably be more stoked. Maybe I think I'm maybe just a bit tired.
Deep down, I was happy in terms of game plan, in terms of strategy or anything like that. There's nothing I would do differently.
Why do I do these things?
Yeah, why do it? oh, that's what life's all about, right? The thing I'm struggling with most now is like, what's next? So what's going to give me that same hunger and drive?
I made a little video like years ago, like just off the little snippets and clips that my dad filmed, and it was on YouTube, and a lot of people messaged me and said that encouraged them to ride it and try it, and that's kind of like, I think the main success of this, we can make a film that people, maybe inspires them to have a crack and go do something stupid. I mean, something fun.
I hope more people sort of look at this and think, well, what an adventure. Let's try this. It's a great thing for people to do.
Come do it. Come visit Scotland. Come ride the trails. Come explore. Challenge yourself. Some of you can even have a crack at my time. There we are. I'm laying it out there. I've set my time. Let's see what other people can do.